Welcome back. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show. Of course, it's been a packed show so far, but we're not going to leave you without bringing more content. Now, lots of people are seeing all these developments, and all they're thinking about is their pocket. People are saying that the tax regime in Enugu is really affecting their daily lives. They're saying the tax is too high. The government maintains that the tax has not been increased, but the tax net has been widened to capture more people. But lots of Enugu residents disagree with this. Despite the fact that we're seeing infrastructural growth, some people still do not believe that the tax net has simply been widened. They think that the tax has indeed been increased. So who better shed more light on this and perhaps give us some perspective than Afia TV political and economic correspondent Nnamdi Obanya. Nnamdi, good morning. So good to have you.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Yeah, so always, tax regime is a thing. Oji, how do you feel about the tax regime in Enugu?
Well, people are complaining, but I keep asking one question. Does it consolidate the taxes that is being widened? Does it align with the infrastructure and the outcome? So these are indices on how to judge and put them in contrast.
That's right.
The tax is being collected and the infrastructure and development we are seeing in Enugu State, does it tally?
Well, let me start from here. In terms of infrastructure development, you would have to be a really dogmatic and obnoxious opposition member to say that you cannot see development. You know, we're not blind, we can see it. Whether it's the roads natural layout, New Havens, the inner streets, whether it's this Niger gas that has just been opened, whether it's presidential, whether it's ICC, whether it's Park Lane that is being rebuilt, or the mega hospital being built at Rangers Avenue. You know, no matter what you're looking at, infrastructure is being worked on. Moribund assets are being revitalized, more opportunities, and it's all very fantastic. But the truth is this, and I will start with this comment from Sir Winston Churchill: you cannot tax your way to prosperity. Any nation that tries to, use tax as a means to prosperity is like a man entering inside a bucket and trying to lift himself by the handle. It cannot work. So the truth is, Enugu is doing great things, but when they say they are widening the tax net, I think it's a bit disingenuous. Widening the tax net means that you are adding more people into the tax net. Tax has not been increased. If you say that the non-statutory taxes have not been increased, that is fine. But they also have to let us know that there are new taxes that are being brought up, and there are taxes that have not been taken for a long time that have been thrown back at people, and the excuse is, it was there before, the government was not collecting it. True. Where was the awareness? Where was the orientation? Many people have started new businesses within that period. And there's also the fact that, and we have to be honest, when you're putting tax on a place, there has to be a strategy behind it. Now, we know that in January, Nigeria's new tax regime will come up. People are already worried. They tell us, oh, don't worry. If your business is doing 800K and below, you won't pay any tax. And I laugh because it's hilarious. Look at it this way. Very simple thing. If you're a woman who sells fruit salad at the roundabout at Obiagu or at Artisan, one of those plates is 1,000 naira. If you sell 10 a day, you've made 10,000 naira. If you sell 5 days a week, that's 50,000 naira, 200,000 naira in a month. Already in 4 months, you're already eligible to be taxed. You have already, so 800 seems like not much till you realize that it's very easy for your revenue to hit it on 800,000, and you're putting a tax net. And in that thing, she's going to buy takeaway plates, she's going to pay state tax, she's going to pay council, pay local government, pay union, pay all sorts of people, pay security levy, this levy, that levy. Maybe only 40,000 will follow her home, or 50,000 from that fruit salad business that she's doing, because she'll still buy the fruits. They'll transport them and everything. So this tax regime is not, there's no nuance and there's no proper application. It's like one size fits all. It's like you go to the market to buy clothes and there's one size of clothes. What will happen is that some people will have a good fit, a decent fit, but a lot of people will not be able to wear it. It will be too big or too small for a lot of people, which is what the tax regime is doing. I'll give you a simple example. Let me use Afia now. Media houses have been included into what is called consumption tax. Consumption tax comes from if you're selling consumables. So there's a tax on that consumable that businesses usually don't feel it because it's passed on to the consumer. Where businesses feel it is that there's something called diminishing utility in economics. Utility, the amount of satisfaction you get. And when it's diminishing, it means that people are not getting extra satisfaction for extra money on top. So your food is getting more expensive, people are not enjoying it more, you're not adding anything extra. People start to stop coming. You start reducing customers. Now, you're telling the radio station to also pay consumption tax. it shows a lack of understanding of the media business. If radio stations consumers enjoy a free service, radio is free to air. They are not paying, you know. A DSTV does not pay Afia TV to be on DSTV. You have to go and hustle for adverts. So this is the key. Your consumers do not pay for your products. What you try to do is find a way to subsidize your expenses, you know. And adverts on a media station is the same as if you have a restaurant and you keep flyers at your reception. Can you tax somebody for flyers at the reception? Advertisement is subsidizing a free service that a media house is offering at a cost. So there's a lack of understanding of the business. And with all due respect to Dr. Nnamdi, he's a very knowledgeable man and I admire him. But, you know, shoving all business people into a large hall and showing us PowerPoint slide for 1 hour, then serving us rice is not stakeholder engagement. What a restaurant wants is not what a hotel wants. What a hotel wants is not what a radio station wants. You have to sit down with different groups, and there are different groups. Call hoteliers, hospitality, and restaurant people. Sit them down. Even within hospitality, restaurants and nightclubs are two different businesses. One is a premium business of ostentation. One is a necessary thing. Radio station, we have a guild of radio managers. We know how much we spend, how much we buy. Call us together. You also have to understand that Afia started. I came to Enugu in 2022. We started building up Afia. We took over 2023. When I first got to Enugu, fuel was 200 naira and a unit of electricity from EDC was 71 naira. Fuel is 900 plus naira now. At a point, it hit 1.5. And EDC, 1 unit, well, main power now, is 209 naira. Almost exactly 3 times what it was. And so this lack of not empathy, but understanding of the problems of the business in your business environment. You want to grow IGR, that's fine. But look at this very carefully. If you keep taxing people and increasing your taxes, what will happen is that businesses will have to shrink their sizes to meet up with the environment. They can pay you less tax. At a point, no matter how much you increase the tax regime on the businesses and the amount of levies and everything you put, you'll find out that you'll be making less because you're having fewer businesses. Businesses are dying off. Businesses are shrinking. What is the state government's major money? Pay from the staff and levies that they pay. If you are taxing them with so many things, consumption tax, this tax, that tax, that tax, where do? We have to reduce salaries. When you reduce salaries, there's less pay coming to government. You see big countries like the US, you always hear of, oh, Donald Trump is giving big companies taxes. Of course, that's disingenuous and dishonest. What is happening is they're giving them what is called capital gains tax. Meaning that when you have more branches, you have a bigger factory, anything you do that will employ more people, the government reduces your tax rate to encourage businesses to expand so that they can employ more people. I think the government needs to look at this. You're not going to increase IGR by saying, oh, don't worry, we're working on tourism. We want to build tourist sites. That's all fantastic. But here is the problem. If you build an environment that the people who live in it cannot afford these tourist attractions, and you're depending on visitors that come, you have a situation where these people that are coming will not be guests. They'll become victims. Your people here will not be hosts. They'll become predators because everybody coming is a mark for them to try and swindle. If you look at international examples, if you go to the US, for example, if you go to Ellis Island, you want to climb Statue of Liberty, the people in those areas, they are not rich. So you find a lot of fake scammers saying, oh, come and buy tickets to go to Statue of Liberty, or what package are you using? Oh, we can up your package for you, give you the deluxe one for a cheaper price. You now get to the foot of Statue of Liberty and they tell you, oh, your ticket is fake, your booking is fake. Same New York, go to Fifth Avenue, Manhattan, upscale. Everybody treats you like a king. Why? Because you're in a different environment entirely. Those people are prepared to host you. Dubai, that everybody is prepared to host you, is a tourist center. When you're on Jumeirah Beach, it feels that way. Go into Dera and enter the wrong place. You will be scammed. Somebody will scam you. Egypt, the same thing. You enter the market, you buy worthless trinkets. They'll tell you it's antique. But the same Egypt, go to Red Sea Rivera, different environment entirely. Why? Because the people in that town are living a life that when you come, they are your hosts. So when you have a town that people are living in abject poverty and you are bringing these rich tourists to come and spend money, what you're doing is you're creating an environment where everybody here becomes a scammer, waiting for the next victim to come off Enugu Air. You put all the right infrastructure to get the states in place. If you are using something like taxes, levies, and payments, to, attack the disposable income of people, you're creating an environment where a lot of businesses will shut down. People don't understand. They think it's just for big businesses. Recently, something happened. They charged 36,000 naira to all shop owners. The shop owners protested. They said, okay, we're bringing the circular came out after they had paid that they're reducing to 30,000 naira. Okay, why is this 6,000 naira? The question is still lingering in the air. Nobody knows. If you go to Ogbete, people are paying Enugu North and State, they're paying the consolidated tax, but some people are still paying another rental to railway in the same market. So if you're on A line all the way down, you are paying double money. So there are things that the government needs to look into properly. You need to understand the businesses you're working with. You're doing a fantastic job. You're bringing the city to the limelight. You're bringing visitors in. You're putting infrastructure. The people that are here, are you making them part of a viable service that you are offering for these things you're giving? And that is the real issue here.
A whole lot. But that brings me to the question of apparently what happened. People are complaining about this, though. I'm just going to deviate a bit about the whole issue of the MOT and the security we saw in Enugu during this conference, right? And so people are asking the question, why now? Why a couple of days before? Why not we see all these individuals on the road? Why not caution MOT on how they treat the citizens of Enugu State? So what's paramount? The people of Enugu, or the people or the elites or the tourists that are meant to come into the town and spend the money? Who are more important now in this government?
If we're going to be honest, there's something called putting your best foot forward. We all live at home. We all treat our family members well. But the truth is that there's an extra step you take when a visitor is coming. If we cooked rice with 1 chicken, the day visitor is coming, we'll put 2 chicken. It's not because we don't like the children, but probably because it's not every day. There's money to mobilize the extra security on the road per day. Is this something we can do every day? No. But if there's an increased cost benefit of a large number of people coming in and an increased reputational value, you can spend that extra money to get to that level. But I get your point about why don't they caution MOT every day. I think the extra work on MOT was basically because we're going to have so many people. You don't want the reputation of traffic gridlock city to go with them. And I agree that from here, there should be some kind of cultural shift, that this is what you did. Can we continue along this path? Can we stop stopping? Can we stop having traffic lights that go from red to off, then MOT slides in your front, no amber in between, slide in your front and start showing you a phone. See, it went off. What was I meant to do? Slam my brake at green, so it almost seems as if you're setting traps. There was, then there's the other one that I would warn people about, which is when you see that you're about to go when it's green. You're getting there, the numbers are counting down. All of a sudden, buses and kekes decide to start moving slowly or cross and block. Then when it goes red, they come and catch you at that place. And you see that they don't hold the keke or buses. I've seen that thing in Lagos. It's a scam. They are in cahoots with the transport management people. So these are the things that need to be looked into. And whether you like it or not, even the fines and things they collect from you is another form of taxation. That's the
All right,
funny
so
part.
you've shared a lot of food for thought, and anyone in the industry, any stakeholder will be interested in what has been said on this program. The state governments, in the revenue board, people will be listening, and of course, Enugu residents who have wanted someone to say this for the longest time. So the question I have while we wrap this up is, what is the better way or the best way, in your view, for the tax regime in Enugu to be handled?
Look, a handshake with a strong face is different from a handshake with a smile. A firm handshake is not always a bad thing. If with a smile, it's my guy. But with a strong face, is my guy. One is a warm greeting that's encouraging a hug. The other one is a threat. So they need to put a human face to policy. You need to pick the people, look at the people doing these things. They need to mix empathy with policy. You can't have empathy alone. You have a society with no law. But you can't have policy alone without, societal empathy. You have to understand, what are they doing? They need to put a more human face to the policies. Policies are great, but they are not for machines. The difference between a machine and a human being, a machine that assembles cars in a factory and a human being, the machine might be faster, more efficient, but it's not paying for a child's education. It's not going to nurture and raise and train a child at home. It's not going to help somebody on the road. So we need to understand that we're dealing with human beings who are doing businesses. There needs to be a smile with the firm handshake. Great policies, great work, but people might not always remember what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel.
So if you were to drop the three-pronged approach right now for the state government to harness while trying to improve how taxes collected in the state, what would it be? Because you've said, handshake with a smile is different from a handshake with a frown, right? But that is it's almost like proverbial. Back to the ground. What would be your suggestion, a three-pronged method?
As an Igbo man, I must use proverbs, it's standard. But one, and I said before, honest stakeholder engagement. It's not symposium. It's not to pack people of different strange bedfellows into one place. Segment
and that's for the revenue board.
Yes,
that's
segment by segment engage.
All right, next.
Secondly, honest attention and implementation of whatever came out of those symposiums. It's not just that you now segment us, you meet us, and nothing gets implemented. We know our needs, we know what we want, and we know what is not. Like in the media, I talked about consumption tax. Already, the Southeast does not get a lot of patronage from Lagos. You will now want to add another cost for agencies that make their money on discounts they take from you. So you have to be very careful what you're telling people to do. And then, third, and most importantly, is there needs to be synergy between your macroeconomic policies and the microeconomic realities of the businesses. You don't make is the law for the people or are the people for the law? Which one is it? Are the policies to help us or are we here to help the policy? Which is it? So those are the things they need to do. Synergize your policies with people's actual activities, honest stakeholder engagement, and honest attention and implementation of whatever is agreed with these stakeholders.
All right. Thank you so much for joining. Oji, any other question?
Oh, don't please, a whole lot.
A whole lot has been said and a whole lot of sensible stuff. Thank you, Nnamdi, for bringing your expert analysis. You should be getting some kind of remuneration for this advice. So these people pay for this consultancy. Just imagine.
That could be a fourth thing on the list.
Exactly.
Hire Nnamdi as consultant.
All right, Nnamdi, thank you so much once again for joining us today. On behalf of the entire production team of the Afia Morning Show on Afia TV, this is saying thank you for watching. Have a blissful weekend. The morning show will continue at the weekend. You have Divine Onoha and Ogochukwu or Sigh on set to keep you up to speed, so don't fret. I remain your host as always, Nathalie Uku.
And I remain OG Nwachukwu. Have a blessed one. Bye for now.